So as we think about campus network security and security of campus systems, one of the missing components in many institutions is policies. And we want to spend a little bit of time talking about policy framework and how it has to do with security. So why is policy important? Well, first off, it can provide a framework so that your users know what is permissible. Is it okay to sell T-shirts on an account on your personal computer on your desktop at work? Or is it not acceptable? And then also just from an IT staff perspective, how do you know what you can do? What is acceptable to you? Can you disconnect users from the network? Can you eavesdrop on network traffic to look for signatures for virus-infected computers? All of these things need to be laid out beforehand, and you don't want to be trying to make this stuff up as you go. So a very typical and a key document that every campus must have is an acceptable use policy, or sometimes it's called AUP. You can Google for University Acceptable Use Policy. You'll find a bunch of them. There is a link here to Acceptable Use Policy for a Sri Lankan university. We might point out that this is only one of a number of policy documents that you must have. So acceptable use policy is probably the key one, but you also are going to want to develop policies that relate to handling of sensitive data. If your student record system has federal identifiers for each student, maybe that information should be very protected, and if it's on somebody's laptop, the laptop needs to have a secured hard drive. So you need to have data classification policy and data handling policy as well. But back to AUP. So this is your opportunity to say how you want people to behave. You want to keep it short and clear. I think given the state of affairs, I would highly recommend you borrow from other institutions. In early days, when we were doing an acceptable use policy, we, the IT organization, we had this big debate about what to do to punish people. And I think it's really, really important, based on our experience, that you simply link to existing disciplinary procedure. You already have policies in place for your institution that if a student is caught cheating on an exam, about how that's investigated and what potentially can happen to them. The same thing should be true with the acceptable use policy. It needs to be linked to existing disciplinary procedures and policies. And you also in this need to tell people where to go for help and advice. So for example, you want to talk about what is going to be allowed. So using the network and university resources for purposes relating to your studies or academic research, that's all fine. Where you have a residential campus where people are staying on campus, you have to probably allow people to watch Netflix or stream audio and video, but you can talk about that needs to happen off hours, away from the university business hours. Other things you want to talk about is what is not allowed. So for example, viewing pornographic material on university resources and using university bandwidth probably is something you should have some statement about what the expectation is. And again, trying to link to existing university policy. What would happen if you caught somebody reading pornographic books in class? The fact that it's technology-based is kind of a moot point. It's the behavior of the individual. You probably need to have in there that you can't use other people's accounts. You shouldn't bypass access controls, and you need to keep your password secret and don't share it with anyone else. And another example of something that you're going to do is that everything is monitored and recorded for the purpose of enforcing your policies. And the fact that people are using the university facilities implies that they're consenting to that monitoring. And then again, as you talk about discipline, this is where you want to hook up the discipline to whatever kind of disciplinary procedures and processes you have in place at your institution. All users must see and preferably sign acceptable use policy. This is a really difficult thing to do. And again, hook it up to existing processes. So a typical university acceptable use policy, university-related work, you shouldn't interfere with the use of resources by others. You have to respect copyright. For violators, you can kick them off the network. That use of the systems are not private, and many, many more. So we've given you a whole bunch of examples. And so just to restate, the key problem we're trying to address here with the policy level resources is, some people use excessive amounts of limited resources. Some people are using those resources for purposes not related to their studies or their employment at the university. Some are even doing illegal activities. Put it like this, it's a question of behavior and discipline. It has really very little to do with technology. And that's why the policy is important, is so that you can outline what is acceptable and not acceptable and use existing university procedures and policies to address violators.